What's up, guys? 98 Reviews. How you doing? Anyways, we're starting off our day at a Tim Hortons before we film these stupid videos. What do you want, Ryan?
Probably like a, I don't know, I'm feeling like a 98 Regency.
Okay, so he wants a 98 Regency to eat, and I'll get a Brome for myself.
Hi there.
Oh, hey, how you doing? Can I get a 98 Regency?
Which one?
Here, let's go.
Okay. Welcome back to another video. Who's on the camera?
Me. It's Ryan.
Mimi's on the
Okay.
camera. Let's, what a beautiful day for a bush light and an Oldsmobile. Not drinking and driving. Not velour, but it's close. No cigar. Holy, how many wheels is in here? The garage. Okay, we got 4-ton jacks. I wanted to show you guys this really quickly, the low profile. This has the foot pump to start it up. So if you're in like a tight corner like this and you're trying to get up along the frame rails of your car, look at this. Just to give it a little start, and then you can pump the rest of the car up with the thing. Nice touch. And you know, the creeper, as we were talking about in one of our last videos, and just the Oldsmobile flag, just to end things off. DeWalt tool bag, pretty nice. This is a very enjoyable compass. It's about 8 years old now. It's had no problems. Change the oil regularly. We have our Ingersoll Rand power tools. Thing pumps out 135 psi. Solid. Let's get started. I have specification list right here from ChevroletPerformance.com. Chevrolet comes out with a new Corvette a couple days ago, 2025 ZR1, Z07 package optional, like always. And they expect us to be happy about it. Everybody is happy about it. Everybody loves it, and everybody thinks it's great. I'm gonna tell you today why this car sucks. Let's start off with the motor. So Chevrolet is telling us that it has an LT7 V8. So what they did was they added a number 7 next to the LT and removed the 6, because from my understanding, it's practically an LT6 with 2 turbos. The LT7 is a 5.5 liter dual overhead cam V8, which is quite impressive for a flat plane crankshaft. Keep in mind, its competitors like Ferrari, Lamborghini, and all of these European companies, they don't have big displacement with flat planes. High 3 liters, low 4 liters, maybe 5 liters, but not even. So the fact that Chevrolet can output 5.5 liters of displacement with a flat plane, that is going to go places, no doubt about it. So I'm not even really surprised about the power numbers that I'm about to share with you guys. So it's a twin turbo, flat plane crankshaft. Okay, it redlines at 8,000 RPM, which is quite solid. It does a 0 to 60 of 2.5 seconds. It has a top speed of over 215 miles per hour, which is like insanely fast. I saw somewhere, or somebody told me that it's 1 mile per hour faster than the 918 Spider that Porsche came out with. I mean, Americans do it best, so. We have 1,064 horsepower at 7,000 RPM, which is pretty solid. We have 828 pound-feet of torque at 6,000 RPM. So this is a classic example of what's been going on with the horsepower wars between the big three. Dodge releases the Demon 170 just a year ago, maybe a little bit more, not exactly sure, with 1,025 horsepower, and that was groundbreaking for the US at least, and Canada obviously, because pause. Those of you Americans that think that the Dodge Demon 170 is so American, it is just as Canadian as it is American, as it's built in Brampton, Ontario, Canada. The horsepower wars, Dodge comes out with 1,025 horsepower. Chevrolet says, you know what? We cannot let Dodge, a dying company, by the way. Tim Kuniskis just retired, that's a whole other thing, or quit, dying company. But Dodge is saying we cannot let them hold this top #1 place. So we got to come out with, Chevrolet, so we got to come out with more horsepower. So they come out with 1,064. So let's compare the LT6, which is the previous generation. So it's the same block casting. It has the same 104.25 millimeter bore, and it has an 80 millimeter stroke, same as the LT6. And it has the same dual overhead cam configuration. The intake and exhausts apparently measure 45 to 35 millimeters, which is in my opinion, quite respectable. What do I know, but it is. Compared to the LT6, this is where I could find the biggest difference in terms of peak cylinder pressure in the LT7 compared to the LT6. Now, it's to be expected with two turbos, but the LT6 was originally at 1,233 PSI, and now we're seeing upwards of 1,595 PSI in the LT7. Very impressive, the fact that this motor can handle that. It's insane to me. They get rid of the Z06 domed pistons for dished pistons, which is something that I don't quite understand, but I don't build motors. I'm just spitting out the facts. Apparently, they dropped the compression ratio from 12.5, which was on the LT6, 12.5 to 1, and now it's running at 9.8 to 1, I guess to make up for the turbos, which is smart and quite respectable, honestly. So, do I want this car? No. I'd rather have a Corolla. The Zr1 LT7's connecting rods are supposed to be designed with fatter, small ends wrapped around thicker wrist pins and all of this, and the crankshaft is practically identical, apparently. The LT7 gets additional machining on the counterweights and in order to make room for beefed up internals. Keep in mind, this is the first ever factory turbocharged Corvette, and that in itself is, wow, I don't know what to say. I never thought it would be done. I honestly didn't think. Because if you look back in 2009, when the Zr1 came out in the like 30, 40 years ago, right? But if you look back at 2009, when it really beefed up, and they threw that supercharger on that motor, it was making 650 horsepower, I believe, the Blue Devil. That thing was a beast, right? And that was a supercharged Corvette, first ever factory supercharged Corvette, I believe. I might be wrong. They may have done something in the 90s. Regardless, this is the first ever production Corvette with turbos. So let's talk about the turbos. So the ball bearing turbo, it spins with a 76 millimeter compressor to make up to 20 PSI in normal operating conditions. I don't know what this means exactly, but this is what's set. Then it says as much as 24 PSI if heat starts to impact power output. What does that mean? Is it 20 or is it 24 PSI? Or is it computer controlled and it reads the engine temperature and then it throws as much boost as necessary? That's ridiculous. Why don't they just make it 24 PSI? Then again, I might just be some kid talking on my ass. The turbine side uses a 67 millimeter wheels made of MAR, apparently some sort of nickel-based alloy, and it has an extreme heat tolerance, and that's why they use it, and it can withstand exhaust temperatures of up to 1900 degrees Fahrenheit. It's supposed to protect the welds or something like that. I still like the GT350 with the Voodoo V8, but that's just me. So let's move on to the transmission of this car. It has an 8-speed dual clutch, which for 2024, 2025, as we're approaching, is sufficient. It's a mid-engine configuration, which is the same as all C8s, which I hate, by the way. I hate the look of that. Some people might like it. It looks too European for me. I don't like European cars. I don't like European cars. I like big cars. I like front-engine V8s. I like them. But if they have to do a mid-engine configuration, so be it. They're competing with the European market now. There's no more Viper. There's nothing to compete in the US. There's a new intercooler with a flow-through hood. There's rear brake cooling ducts. So essentially what they're saying is that they have these vents on the side of the car that are piped right to the rear brakes to cool them down when you're on the track. And there's practically carbon fiber everywhere. 1,200 pounds of downforce? I mean, what do you need 1,200 pounds of downforce for? Got a 98 Regency that weighs 5.5, 6 tons almost. You don't need downforce. There's a split rear window. I can explain to you what this is. So comparing it to the 1963 Corvette and the 2025 Corvette, they have brought back the split window. So what that means is the back glass that you see through the rearview mirror is now split with a pillar of some sort, and they put vents in them. So essentially what I think they did is I think they put this to allow the engine to breathe more, to allow this 1,000 horsepower engine to breathe. And then Chevrolet just kind of sold it as if they're like tributing it back to the 60s with the C2 Corvette. I don't know if that's the case. I do like it. I do like the look of the C2 more, but I do like the split window, and I do like how they actually mention their history. Cool. There's 10 spoke carbon fiber wheels. 10 spoke. We got 36 spokes on this puppy. They're saying that they're lightweight and they're very agile and they're very good. So that being said, guys, I hate this car, and thank you for listening. all jokes aside, this is a fantastic car that Corvette and Chevrolet have put out together. This motor is insane. I hope and pray to God that it doesn't have any lifter ticks or anything like the 6.2s had and some of the LSs had. So set aside that. If this thing can handle 1,590 something pounds of cylinder pressure, then this is a beast. And if you hear this thing, you're going to appreciate it 1,000 times more. Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening. Keep in mind, I love Oldsmobile. This is Chris. That's Ryan. This is 90 Reviews. And the Corvette, although we said it sucks, it's impossible to argue with those statistics. The best. Let's go. America is winning right now.
All right, guys. I hope you liked that video. In my opinion, like the Corvette kind of sucks. I'm not gonna lie, but if I had the money, I'd buy 10. We got this football here, and I'm gonna throw it for this community. All right.
It's almost NFL season.
It is college football 25. I hope you guys are playing that
They actually came
one.
out with NCAA.
That was for you. All right.